And long story, but welcome to the basement. And I'm going to go over the NXT Takeover Dallas event with you, kind of give you my first impressions of the event. Is it the perfect pay-per-view? That's my first question, because I'm going to show you what it's got to beat a perfect pay-per-view. So if you said that this is the perfect pay-per-view or perfect network special that WWE has ever put out, take a look at this here before you make the decision. Take a good look at it. I'll give you a look at the card too. Everybody's seen it by this point. If you haven't, you got the network. Go take a look at it. WrestleMania X7. Everybody says that this was the perfect pay-per-view. And okay. So make your decision off of that. Is it better than X7 or not? What we just seen. To me personally, and this is my opinion, it's up there. It's definitely the best NXT special I've seen since NXT debuted on the network a couple years ago or so. It's better than TakeOver Brooklyn. But best pay-per-view of all time, best network special of all time, I don't know. The matches were great though. Was asked about Apollo Crews and Elias Sampson. They were not on the show card at all, and I know that went across Twitter for people who were watching like myself at home. Here's the situation with that. That match got moved to the pre-show, and spoiler alert here, Apollo Crews defeated Elias Sampson, but you will see that next week on NXT on the Wednesday night show, it sounds like. That's what they were doing. They pre-taped it for the Wednesday night pre-tape show. That will be next week on the network. So going for the results, American Alpha, Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, they beat the Revival for the NXT Tag Team titles. I thought that this was a great matchup. One of the best tag matches I've seen in 2015, if not the entire calendar year from 2015 to 2016 now, I guess I should say. Get with it, it's 2016. What are you talking about now, man? But yeah, I thought that this was one of the best tag matches I've seen in the last calendar year from WWE. It was great. It definitely eclipses the best tag match I've seen, no matter what promotion it's been all year, which was back at the New Year's Dash New Japan card the night after Wrestle Kingdom 10. That was, I'm trying to remember who was in that match. I think it was Yoshihashi and Nakamura versus AJ and Omega, and that's the match where Omega turns on AJ at the end. And that, to this point, was one of my favorite tag match of the year, straight tag team, until tonight with the American Alpha and the Revival. That was a great match. It was fun. Austin Aries in his debut, he defeated Baron Corbin. Great match, and like I predicted in my prediction video, Aries is that type of guy that makes other people look good. You look at Corbin in the ring, man, he looked stunning tonight, didn't he? It was amazing. It was, the best Corbin looked as a heel, and Aries just brought it out in him, which is great. And it's just onwards and upwards from here. Like, Corbin after that match tonight looks like he could challenge Balor for the NXT title. Pure and simple. But I still think we're going to get another match between the two of them. Maybe some sort of stipulation match, submission, 2 out of free falls, something like that later on down the line. Alright, the next one was, of course, two artists. Two modern day artists. And this will be a match where I hope they splice it out, put it on a tape or a disc or some sort of non-erasable media, and bury it underneath Titan Towers in a little time capsule to say this is what wrestling was in the 21st century. In a time capsule, so future generations could dig it up and be like, oh cool, this was the art form, right? That was the perfect match. Pure and simple. That's as best as you're going to get. That's a great story being told by two storytellers front to back. And there's not a whole lot else I can add to that or to anybody else. My jaw is still on the floor from that. And the situation with that is this. Like I said in my prediction, if Zayn loses this match, which he did, you're looking at the new Intercontinental Champion on Sunday, which is Sami Zayn. So he's got huge plans on Sunday because he's walking out with the Intercontinental title. And Nakamura, welcome to NXT. Wow. Just wow. If you haven't seen that match, go to the network, go watch it. And just take note, and I hope that they save that somewhere on some non-erasable medium so they can save it for like 1,000 years. And so people 1,000 years from now, or whatever's inhabiting this planet, can take a look and be like, wow, that was their art form. That's awesome, you know? That's great. Oh, I lost my page. No, I don't like that. Okay. Nope. Get back here. All right. So the singles match for the NXT Ladies Championship, Asuka and Bayley, they were in a tough spot because they had to follow that clinic between Zayn and Nakamura, which is up for match of the year. Probably will get match of the year unless something later on this year tops it. But I think that just in closing, the Nakamura's Zayn match will probably get match of the year mention for sure. But Asuka and Bayley, the singles match for the women's title, was pretty good. It was kind of what you expect between two clashing styles like that. And the ending was it had that sense of that nice little twist of WWE to it, that ending, because it was a very it's a very similar ending to Steve Austin Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13, where one passed out because of the pain of the submission hold and the other one won. Well, you know, Bayley never gave up, so that keeps her character strong going into whatever the future holds for her. Probably main roster, but we'll see. And Asuka walks out with the belt, and it's going to be fun seeing her as a champion. I can't wait to see who our first challenger is going to be. Do we get to see Asuka Emma for the NXT title again? Because that'd be awesome. Asuka Dana Brooke, you know, and whoever else, right? That's coming in or will be on that roster over the next few months. But I can see Asuka holding that belt for a while, for sure. In the main event, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. The cut. Everyone's talking about the cut. Cut happened probably about 10 to 20 seconds into the match when they were exchanging in the ring, and Joe was going for his knee strikes and caught Balor's head with his head somewhere. They showed a nice close-up shot on the pay-per-view. If you go back and take a look at it, you'll get a better look to see it. But the reason why the trainers were coming down to ringside and that stuff and kept checking him each time and that stuff is different states have different athletic commissions. Don't forget, WWE is still governed by every state, with the exception, I think, of New Jersey, on athletic commissions that they have to adhere to from the boxing and wrestling commissions. And Texas, I believe, is one of those places that still has kind of an old school boxing and wrestling commission. So due to that fact, and due to the stringent fact now where people and the concern on concussions and that stuff, of course they're going to stop the match once in a while and check on his cuts and check and see if he's all together and whatever. You know, the chants and stuff, were they warranted? I don't know, maybe, but, you know, that was neither, how can I put this? It was really not warranted by the crowd to really get that rowdy with that. They have to just keep in the back of their mind that, hey, wait a second, there is a boxing and wrestling commission that's governing this, so let them just go through their thing. You know, bottom line is this, the cut didn't look like it affected Joe much in the ring with his ring work and that stuff. It just looked more aesthetic more than anything else. It just looked like that, okay, there's a cut over his eye. They just have to wipe it out of his eye once in a while so he can see exactly what he's doing, right? And such. The ending, a little homage to WrestleMania 8 with Piper and Bret Hart with the Coquina Clutch chokehold on Balor, and Balor works his way over to the ropes, and they flip back. Neat ending. It leads to something a little bit more later on. I thought Balor may be done with NXT and be going up to the main roster the night after Mania, which may still happen. But typically guys who get called up to the main roster will, in a matter of days and weeks, lose that NXT title to somebody on the NXT brand, because let's face it, WWE doesn't like having an NXT champion or the NXT belt on their main roster when it's better use in NXT, of course, right? So hence and forth, just take a look at what happened a couple of years ago with Paige and the NXT women's title down there. So all in all, yeah, definitely 5-star network special. Definitely my favorite network special I've seen. Front to back, solid matches, great crowd. Nakamura Zayn is probably a 21st century wrestling masterpiece that should be archived and sent to the Smithsonian Institution as a representation of cultural, of what our culture was going through at this period of time and that stuff. You can put it up there next to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven in the spaceship, and then the time capsule to send off to far off planets if you want to. And don't freak out over the blood in the the Samoa Joe match, guys. The commission's just doing their job, and WWE's just doing their job because they're a little paranoid because of injuries, and they don't want to see anybody else getting injured and, you know, put through undue stress because of, you know, getting amped up on the WrestleMania of shows for your brand, right? Especially if they got big roster plans for him later on in the year, which they might, right? So.